Okay, good morning to everybody. And today we're going to discuss about interleaved memory, which is a technique which divides memory into a number of modules such that successive words in the address space are placed in the different modules. Why we use memory interleaving? First we discussed whenever processor requests data from the main memory, a block or chunk of data is transferred to the cache and then to the processor. So whenever a cache miss occurs, the data is to be fetched from the main memory, but main memory is relatively slower than the cache. So to improve the access time of the main memory, interleaving is used. We can access all four modules at the same time, thus achieving parallelism. And that means why to study what is the interleaving. Interleaving is that is a concept of the main memory. Because when the processor is made to access the data from the cache, then it will be automatically transferred to the main memory area. But here is that main memory is slower than the cache memory, or you can say it is unable to produce the data at the speed of the processor. That's why this interleaving concept is used, because through the interleaving concept this accessing speed of the main memory will be increased. So that's why the interleaving concept is used. There are two types of interleaving. One is a high order interleaving, another is a low order interleaving process. That means look here, in the interleaving process, this is the low order bits and the high order bits. That means out of these 4 bits, this is the low order, this 0 1, high order is 0 0, right? So this is the 0 bit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That means this is the 16 bit memory space, right? So out of this 16 bit memory space, this memory chunked into the different equal modules. Module 0, module 0 1, module 1 0, module 1 1. Module 0 0 means that is all the startings from the 0 0 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1, right? And the module 0 1 is your 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Module 1 0 is 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1, and module 1 1 is 0 0 0 1 1 0 and the 1 1. That means here 0 0 means this 4 bit first the higher bit is 0 0, module 0 0 the higher bit, and this is 0 0 1 1 0. That means up to this one, right? Now up to this one, this is the first chunk. Then module 0 1, that means higher bit is 0 1 0 1 0 1. This is the 4 bit the chunk. There is another chunk. Next is your module 1 0, that means 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 up to this. This is the 0 0 0 1 0. That means this is the this 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 is the higher bit, and this 0 0 1 1 1 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1, this is the lower bit. So these are the you can chunk this center memory space into different modules. So this interleaving process are two types. One is your high order interleaving, another one is your low order interleaving. In high order interleaving, the most significant bits of the address select the memory module, and the least significant bits are sent as an address to each chip. One problem is that two consecutive address tends to be in the same chip, and the maximum rate of data transfer is limited by the memory cycle time. But in case of the lower order interleaving, the least significant bits select the memory module, and these consecutive memory addresses are in different memory modules, and this allows memory access at much faster rates than allowed by the cycle time. So these are the high order and the low order interleaving. Next come to the cache memory. The cache memory is a special very high speed memory. It is used to speed up and synchronizing with high speed CPU. Cache memory is costlier than main memory or disk memory, but economical than CPU registers. Cache memory is an extremely fast memory type that acts as a buffer between RAM and the CPU. It holds frequently requested data and instructions so that they are immediately available to the CPU when needed. Cache memory is used to reduce the average time to access data from the main memory, and the cache is a smaller and faster memory which stores copies of the data from frequently used main memory location, and there are various different independent caches in a CPU which stores the instruction and data. So look at this diagram. This is the CPU, processor and the primary memory. This is the processor, and this is the primary and the secondary memory. Between the processor and primary memory or main memory, the cache memory is there. So what is the use of this cache memory? Because you can say why you using cache memory? Because the speed of the CPU is always very fast compared to the speed of the memory. That's why memory is unable to supply the data at the speed of the processor. So that's why we are using the cache memory. Now cache memory is it is faster than the first main memory because it is a very small register. Then whatever the data is stored in the primary memory, it automatically one copy of that primary memory transferred to the cache memory, and processor is always first try to access the data from the cache memory. If it fails to retrieve the data from the cache memory, then it will move to the main memory to retrieve the same data. Right? So that's what the cache memory is used. Next is your cache performance. When the processor needs to read to write a location in main memory, it first checks for a corresponding entry in the cache. If the processor finds that the memory location is in the cache, a cache hit has occurred and data is read from the cache. That means if the data is found in the cache memory, this is known as the cache hit, and if the data is not present in the cache memory, or you can on the other hand you can say if processor is failed to retrieve the data from the cache memory, that is known as the cache miss. So the performance of cache memory is frequently measured in terms of quantity called hit ratio. So hit ratio equal to hit by hit plus miss equal number of hits by total access. Next is your cache mapping, is very important. There are three types of cache mapping. There are three different types of mapping used for the purpose of cache memory, which are as follows: direct mapping, associative mapping, and set associative mapping. So in direct mapping, assign each memory block to a specific line in the cache. If a line is previously taken up by a memory block, when a new block needs to be loaded, the old block is traced. An address space is split into two parts: index field and tag field. The cache is used to store the tag field, whereas the rest is stored in the main memory. So direct mapping's performance is directly proportional to the hit ratio. Next is your associative mapping. In this type of mapping, the associative memory is used to store, contain an address of the memory word, any block, and can go into any line of the cache. And this means that the word ID bits are used to identify which word in the block is needed, but the tag becomes all of the remaining bits. Set associative mapping. Set associative address the problem of possible thrashing in the direct mapping method, and it does this by saying that instead of having exactly one line that a block can map into the cache, we will group a few lines together, creating a set. Then a block in memory can map to any one of the lines of a specific set, and set associative mapping allows that each word that is present in the cache can have two or more words in the main memory for the same index address. Set associative cache mapping combines the best of direct and associative cache mapping techniques. So these are the mapping techniques of the cache memory. So mapping. So this is all about for today's class. Thank you.